Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a slasher film, Hatchet Part 2. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. In the last episode, the boy Ben and the girl Ice try to evade the swarm through a boat. But Ugly attacked them and throws Ice off the boat. When Ice comes up from water again, Ben is already killed. Ugly grabs Ice by her neck, while Ice attempts to gouge out his eyes. Ugly cannot take such a pain and falls into the water. Ice paddles hard to leave the danger zone. In the chaos, a hand pats on her shoulder. Ice screams out loud, thinking that it is Ugly. Turning around, she recognizes him to be Yellow, who discouraged them from exploring the swarm. Yellow rescues Ugly and takes her back to his lodging. According to him, the swarm has been shut down for a few decades. From time to time, some foolish and naive tourists come to risk their life. By the time when they realize Ugly is at large, it is too late to retrieve. Ice cries out that she comes to seek her late brother and father. It turns out that Ice's mother had long passed away, and her father used to be an alligator hunter. Her father and brother ventured this swarm, for there should be more alligators in such a desolate zone. As soon as Yellow learns the full name of Ice, his attitude changes totally. He shouts at Ice, chasing her out of his house. It looks like Yellow knows Ice's father in person, and he does not want to be involved in this mess. He points the gun at Ice, forcing her to leave immediately. He also tells her to seek Reverend Zombie. After Ice takes her leave, Yellow murmurs that he will be safe, because he does not know her name. Opening director's handbag, Yellow takes out the video recorder. The video recorder works perfect, and it keeps the video clips taken by director. Many models are instructed to remove their tops during filming. Yellow also gets to see Earring and Blonde talking with each other in the video. At this time, a strange sound occurs outside his lodging. Yellow explains that he does not know Ice at all. As soon as he turns back, Ugly pulls out his smelly intestine, putting it around his neck and strangling him to death. Ice returns to the city and finds Reverend Zombie, the very strange boss who opened the door for Ben and Green in the first episode. Ice tells him that she comes based on Yellow's advice, and all the other tourists have died. Sensing that Reverend Zombie might know some secrets about her father, Ice asks him about it. Reverend Zombie reveals that Ugly's father and his legitimate wife used to live happily in the Swarm Island. Unfortunately, the wife fell sick one day, and her health deteriorated drastically. Her friend, who was a nurse, often visited her to give treatment. But the wife soon found that the nurse friend was warming up with her husband. In fact, Ugly's father and the nurse had an affair, and made out without his sick wife's notice. On the day when the wife was about to die, she sat up from her bed, and cursed the baby conceived by the nurse. The very cursed baby was Ugly. Ugly's birth date was disastrous. After a raging storm, many wild lives died without reason, as if there was a plague imposed on the island. What's more, Ugly was born deformed, full of tumors and sickness. Legend has it that Ugly's mother died right after she took a peek at the baby. Ugly's father carefully hid all the dark secrets and created a normal life for Ugly. It is his fame and name that he tried to defame. No way he wanted anyone else to know about his adultery, and the shameful curse his son got to bear. On Halloween's day, 3 children came to Ugly's house at night. They jeered at Ugly, and threw fireworks to his wooden cottage, which set the house on fire. And then, Ugly was accidentally killed by his father. Afterward, Ugly's father sought the 3 culprits, but they denied everything. In the end, Ugly's father died of depression. From then onwards, it is said that Ugly would roam in the swarm to find his father. Whoever steps into the swarm, be it hunter or tourist, would be cruelly slain by Ugly. Ice's father was one of the 3 naughty children, who made fun of Ugly on Halloween. Reverend Zombie speculates that Ugly might know the true identity of Ice. That is why he does not relent on Ice. Reverend Zombie calls Ugly a repeater, for he has to repeatedly experience fear and murder. After hearing the full story, Ice blames Reverend Zombie for renting out boats to the innocent expedition teams. Reverend Zombie denies such an accusation, claiming that his boats have been safe in the past 2 months. Last night was just a rare accident. Recalling the tragic and horrid night, Ice sheds tears. She begs Reverend Zombie to take her to the swarm one more time, so that she can carry back the corpses of her family. Reverend Zombie nods his head after many considerations, but he adds that this time round, they should form a team, and Ice must bring along one of her family members. And then Reverend Zombie calls Magician's twin brother, nicknamed Twin, and lies to him that Magician is still alive. Ice enlists the help of her uncle, and he complies. Meanwhile, Reverend Zombie gathers his team member, awarding $500 to each participant. At first, some hunters express their interest as he mentions getting back his boat. But as soon as they hear the name of Ugly, most of them leave, and only a few remain. Among them, Pretty wants to patch up with her ex-boyfriend Angry Mustache, and Mr. Bald is tempted by the High Commission. The man in a camouflage suit, nicknamed Camouflage, is not a local man. He wonders if Ugly is like a demon. Reverend Zombie declares that he would pay them $500 for the lost boat, and 10 times more for the head of Ugly. As such, the expedition team is all set. With the full team on board, Reverend Zombie tells Ice that the key to liquidating Ugly is to give him a deadly attack. As long as they are able to cause him serious injuries and beheads him, he will disappear. Later, they alight the boat fully armed. Ice guides them to the cottage of Ugly. Reverend Zombie decides to disseminate the team, and gathers again at sunrise. Little do they know that Ugly is the ultimate hunter, and their nightmare is just about to begin. A man with a cap, nicknamed Mr. Cap, and Camouflage go for an alligator hunt. After Mr. Cap fires a shot at the water, they hear a strange howl all around. The duo become alert, and carefully observe the bushes. Suddenly, Ugly dashes out, and clamps down Camouflage. In terror, Mr. Cap flees the scene immediately. Ugly wields his hatchet at Camouflage until his mouth is broken. Mr. Cap runs back to the boat. Just when he is about to start it, Ugly appears at his back, and drags him into water. Mr. Cap is killed miserably by Ugly with a propeller. At this time, Pretty and Angry Mustache are having a sweet time together, reminiscing their happy times. Soon passion sparks off, and they begin to kiss each other. In a heated hormone game, Angry Mustache declares his love for Pretty. But Ugly shows up, and cuts off Angry Mustache's head, together with his smelly mustache. Pretty senses that her love stops moving, and turns back to find Ugly. She wants to escape, but Ugly hits her with the hatchet. The hatchet gets stuck in her body, and it takes a while for Ugly to pull it out. At the other part of the jungle, Twin senses that something is wrong. He asks Reverend Zombie why they need to bring so many guns. Reverend Zombie tells him that they have come to break Ugly's curse. Bald and Ice's uncle are the other 2 children, who threw fireworks that night. As long as Ugly kills them, there will be peace across the swarm. And then Reverend Zombie would proceed to make a great profit out of the swarm. In other words, Reverend Zombie strategically plans for the murder. Ice leads some members to the cottage, but she soon discovers that her late brother and father are no longer there. She suspects that Ugly has transferred them to another house, and starts searching. This is clearly a dangerous move. Seconds later, they hear the howl of Ugly, and rush to shut the door. Uncle comes to realize the real purpose of Reverend Zombie bringing them here. Twin is too afraid to speak properly. He states that he is here to fetch his younger brother Magician, but Ice tells him Magician is already dead. Now that Twin realizes Reverend Zombie is full of lies, Ugly cannot enter his house, so he turns to tackle the 2 men guarding outside. As they look, they see an electric saw. And at the end of it, Ugly is ready to attack them. Ugly cuts the 2 guards into halves before they can run. Hearing the noise of the saw, Twin is scared to death. When he shivers at a corner, Reverend Zombie reprimands him, and tells him to stay calm. He emphasizes that as long as the 3 culprits pay their lives for the crime, Ugly will cease killing, and they will get to leave the swarm intact. Ice grabs Twin's gun, and Uncle instructs Twin to bring her to a safe place. And then, Twin and Ice hide in a deserted house full of grass. Twin reveals Reverend Zombie's actual motive. Knowing the truth, Ice rushes out to rescue Uncle. Now only Twin alone remains in the house. He looks around, and decides to take refuge in the wardrobe. Unexpectedly, a spider crawls on him. Twin turns on his flashlight to take a close look, but what is staring at him is Ugly's horrid monstrous face. Ugly slings his hatchet at Twin and executes him. Upon hearing Twin's cry for help, Uncle wants to break in to rescue him. But Ugly breaks through the door to attack Uncle. In a pinch, Ice's gun is faulty and cannot fire at all. She smashes Ugly with the gun, and is thrown aside. Bald shoots Ugly, but he is not injured at all. Soon after, Bald and Ugly wrestle together. When Ice regains her consciousness, she intends to pick up Uncle, who lays on the floor. But Reverend Zombie pulls her away. Reverend Zombie locks up the door. No matter how Uncle begs him, he refuses to let him in. At this moment in time, Bald is pressed down to the table. Ugly gives him a harsh kick, and his head is broken off from the main body. Ugly approaches Uncle with groans and hissing. Uncle knows that he has no way to evade the room, so he fights against Ugly. Soon Uncle dies in a bloody scene. By now, all the 3 culprits are terminated. Seeing this, Reverend Zombie claims that the curse is finally over, and the swarm will be ruled by him. Little does he know that Uncle, who just died, is not Ice's relative. He is just a good friend of Ice's father. Actually, Ice's own uncle died of cancer when she was 12 years old. In other words, the curse will never be lifted. Right then, Ugly comes up to Reverend Zombie and slashes him with a hatchet suddenly. Following Reverend Zombie's death, Ice charges at Ugly and stabs the hatchet at Ugly's ugly head. And then she chops him in the same way he did to many others, until Ugly's head becomes like a pulp. Noticing that Ugly just moves his finger, Ice takes up a gun to shoot him without stop. In anger, she is determined to avenge the blood of her loved ones, and all others who have been killed by this ugly beast. She remembers what Reverend Zombie tells her: they must create deadly wounds in Ugly. It is her earnest wish to end his life, so she would definitely try all means to do so. The film does not reveal whether Ugly has died. More details may be covered in the next episode. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.